Testing, testing, one, two, three, and we're back. It's your boy Merlin, back with I'm sorry I've been away, but I've been ill and I haven't been able to really record anything in a while. So I just thought let me get back out of it. I got a couple of days off, and then let me just get back on the grind. Yeah, today's topic, man, I've finally really found this interesting. Is going to be about the workplace. Now, my question is, I was actually let me say this. I was reading a Reddit thread the other day, and they were talking about how do we get suckered into this thing that we do 5 days a week. How this is, why do I have to keep coming back to a thing that I have to do constantly, that I give up most of my time to, the best hours of the day to the like. This was the general thread. I think if I simplify it, it is, why do I give up so much of my freedom and my free time to this one thing that I don't like at all? Now that was a very interesting question. I thought it's like, I just kind of want to just put it out there. My question would be, do you feel like the actual job structure is against the idea of freedom, or is it like some other form of not oppression, but restrictedness? Do you know what I mean? I don't want to use oppression because that's kind of Soviet stuff. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, when I was reading it, it was really bringing up some truths for me as well. I feel like what it is now, that the job structure or the structure of jobs of having only 2 days off really affects people, because when you look at people going to work, you don't just commit hours to the actual job. You don't just wake up and go to work. No, you commit outside of hours, a lot of hours. So you commute to work, you make lunch for work, you get ready for the day before for work. So you're probably committing, even if you had an 8-hour job, you can probably committing average about 12 hours to the job, just out of your daily life. So half of the day that we're committed to, sorry, is actually already gone. So I'm just trying to structure this in a way that I really want answers to, but it's very confusing. Is it a fundamental bad thing that we give so much time to our jobs, or is it a deep necessity that we must do for a living? Because say like, if we had a different system to various capitalism, obviously I'm not talking about socialism or Marxism kind of way where the government just owns it and you have your house and stuff like that, and you are just literally given what you were given by the government, because that would corrupt the government to a whole point of they're probably taking more lives than they actually were. So my point would be, and I'm sorry about that weird car. I just needed to see what I was gonna do. Yeah, basically, it's the idea of, they were speaking about general freedom and general things that they want to do. Because when you look at the way, especially in the West, obviously, right now, when you look at it, all the good paying jobs are probably going to be from getting a degree. If you use the university's landscape, you give so much of your time in education, and then you give about three, maybe if you also talk about maybe levels, you give 5 years to the uni and stuff like that. So you give 5 years and then 2 years of A levels, and then you give 3 to the actual degree. And a lot of people, I know some people who actually leave uni because they don't like what's happening or didn't like their course. So from that point of view, they get into debt and they don't actually have a degree. So it's one of them things of, you commit so much of your life and you don't like doing it. Does it form a toxic environment for yourself in yourself that maybe leads to other problems? I think we need to really think about this. Does the job actually make us commit too much of our time so we don't have that balance of his life? I don't want to put this extreme statement out, but yes, I kind of think we do. Does capitalism right now in its current form, where I do think it's been relatively controlled by the top percentiles, become a general problem on democracy? Now, I love capitalism. I love that. I do think it needs a bit of a structural change, as far as I do think businesses need to be up more of each other's throats more than anything else, but I will get that to another video. But I generally think the work structure may be causing a lot of toxicity in the society that is not very good for general society itself. How many people do become weak because their job fills up most of the time? How many people hate their jobs and become bitter because they spend so much time at a job they don't like, where people they don't like either, and become weak and bitter? So I have some stats here actually. I'm now become a stat guy. That obviously YouGov, the British, like obviously the UK website, saying the difference between, this is very actually important. The statistical to change, like I said, the most notable middle class employees are more likely to like their job than working class. See, that's a very interesting point. Is there another class warfare is here as well? Do we no longer have that structured society that we had in the 60s and 70s, where working class jobs were good paying jobs and people could afford a living, and that's also creating very dangerous and crime-ridden areas and stuff like that? Or is it just that people, they come home to a better home, middle class people come home to a better home, and they can tolerate their jobs more? It's very interesting to see. It's like take all this in. You know what I mean? So I think one also stats of, like they said, like out of the billion workers in the world, only 50% of them like their jobs. So this is very interesting. Does the structural work base right now that we have actually lead to other very extreme toxicities like bitterness, hate, anger, jealousy? I think that's very important, because I think for me personally, I would just give my opinion. I think, a 3-day weekend would be very helpful to people. I don't think you need to work the whole, especially in the office, I don't think you need to work a whole 5 days. You know what I mean? I think 4 days for everybody would be fine, and you could get probably a lot done. Especially right now, I've always said, even before the pandemic, that if you can do work from an office, you could probably do it from home. What's the difference between doing work in the office than it is working from home? You can generally just go to your laptop and then work. I know tons of people, like the way the landscape has changed because of the pandemic is great, I feel. It only took a deadly virus to figure this out, for people to figure this out, but this is good. I think this would be good for businesses, that we have more people working from home, because you can just hire people from home. You don't have to have the expenditure of buying, like literally renting out an office to people to work from. You can literally get people to say, hey, listen, if you have ability to work from home, that's good. I can get a smaller office. I can have people in some here and there sometimes. So, to go back to my original question, which I will put to you guys, is the structural work base now we have a very is it a very damaging thing to what we have now? Is it gonna be very dangerous in the years to come, or is it dangerous now? This is my question to you. Is it creating a toxic environment or toxic society, the workplace? Alright, man. It's Merlin. I will post more. I've got more time over this weekend, so I will post more. I will put more questions out. I think tomorrow we're going to do, I don't know what we would do, but this is just generally a podcast. It's generally my thoughts, and I hope eventually you all start to think about, I made you think about stuff. So it's been your boy Merlin. I hope you all have a great day and a great life, and I'll see you more than ever.